Welcome to Stoughton Community Access Corporation's Community Forum Show. My name is Steve Kelly and I'm your host. And today I have the pleasure of bringing Vargas Insurance, right? And Carlos Vargas and Jeff Camara. So let me start with you, Jeff.
Sure.
What's your position with the company?
Sure, I'm the manager at the office manager.
And that's in?
We're located in Dorchester and in Stoughton. We're at 1133 Washington Street in Dorchester and right around the corner here in 4 Cabot Place, Unit 7 in Stoughton.
Very nice. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, and Carlos,
Yeah.
what do you do for Vargas Insurance?
I'm actually the marketing person at the agency. I'm the community liaison. I'm the guy that shows up to the events and tries to share all the good things that happen in the communities that we have insurance agencies in. I'm a partner. I'm in business with my two brothers, and Jeff's also a partner as well. So there's this whole family involved and best friend involved as well. So. Yeah.
Well, that sounds just terrific to have a family business with friends.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's the American dream, right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So you work out of Stoughton. Are you actually located more in Stoughton or more in Dorchester, would you say?
I'd say the time is split.
Right.
You know, I mean,
both.
Dorchester's definitely our hub,
Right.
but we definitely spend a fair share of time in Stoughton since we both have roots in the community, so we spend a lot of time in our hometown.
Wonderful. And Carlos, you were voted Citizen of the Year or something to that effect, right?
Right.
How did that calamity happen?
I don't know. I was humbled. I was honored. It was Smacks. A couple of folks who see what I do in the community nominated me for the SMAC Citizen of the Year. I thank SMAC. I thank those folks. I think it's just a matter of my role is to just showcase the good things that are happening here. During the winter months, I spent a lot of time out of my home in the evening, different places, just talking about the Stoughton House of Brews, the restaurants that are struggling, right? Because folks are staying home. So I think somebody looked at that and thought, well, geez, this guy's a pretty good guy. He loves to eat too. So he's at these food places.
Check out the restaurants
Right.
and you'll find Carlos
That's
at
right.
one of them.
One of them, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Now, you had a kind of a good line. We were sort of warming up before the show.
Sure.
Something about everybody wants to live
In Carmel, California, right? This, or this magnificent community where we have all these non-big box stores, all these little individual boutiques and stuff, but unless we get involved, we're never going to have it, right? So if we, as business people, as citizens of the community, we need to roll up our sleeves and just spend a little time with the nonprofits, helping out at the schools, reading at the schools, just doing good things so that the entrepreneurs, the people who we're looking to attract, the affluent, the entrepreneurs will look at Stoughton and say, well, that's an up-and-coming place, and I know you like to bike, I love to walk. It's great to see the bike paths and the sidewalks, and so that's what I think we all should get involved a little bit.
Yeah, so there's this idea that we want a utopian life,
Right.
and your efforts are really to try and create that,
Absolutely.
And it doesn't come by itself.
It does not.
Yeah.
It does not. I mean, we all need to, a few of us get involved and we help out at the farmers market. If 30 people get involved, can you imagine how much more we could get done there? So it's in the few folks who volunteer there, they already do a great job, but we all need to kind of work a little bit. We need to give back to the community that we're living in, that we make our money in. I say this all the time. I speak at many different events, and I say most small business owners are like hidden. We do good in the community, but we never share any of that. Whether you help out the church group or the Cub Scouts or the Girl Scouts, I mean, we need to get on social media and banter about it. So folks see that we're passionate, or they're passionate about the same issues that we're passionate about. And they say, maybe I will go see Steve Kelly or Vargas Insurance or whoever it is. So I think we need to kind of do a better job at that.
Now, you're also bilingual.
I am, yeah,
right?
Portuguese.
So there's a cute little joke about bilingualism, you know that, right?
No.
So there's this shop owner, right? And she decides that she needs a helper. So she puts a little a thing on the door, a little sign on the door, and it says, assistant wanted must be bilingual and computer proficient, right? So she waits a little bit, and there's a dog comes to the door and starts scratching the door. And she looks down at the little dog. She says, oh, little guy. She says, you want the job? And the little dog says, ruff, ruff. like that, right? So dog, she lets the dog in. She goes, go right up there and show me your stuff. So he jumps up on the chair and he writes, I want the job, just like that, right? And now she's starting to get worried.
Right.
Says, oh my goodness. But she remembers, she put on the sign, bilingual, right? Bilingual, right? So she says, but are you bilingual? And he says, meow. So we just want to make sure, but that is one of your assets in the community, right? Because we have a very diverse community.
We do, and that's a great thing about our community. It's, you know, there's so many different walks of life here, which makes it vibrant, you know, whether it's Brazilian or Portuguese or Haitian or Jamaican, there's so much going on here that, I mean, I think it's a great spot to raise a family, to do business in, because those folks, they're moving here, they have needs, they need services. Right. I think if we can somehow reach out to them without really saying, hey, come to me, maybe sharing and talking about what they're passionate about as well, right. we'll win the game. Good.
And let me just switch a little bit with Jeff and talk a little bit about the actual insurance products.
Sure.
I think anybody watching, virtually everyone has insurance, right?
Correct.
Whether it's your car or your house, liability insurance for your business, health insurance. I mean, there's a litany of insurance products. So what would you say, or could you give our audience maybe a couple of hints or a quick tutelage on how they might fine-tune their insurance ideas?
Yeah, I mean, the best advice to give is, you know, talk to your agent at least once a year. I mean, what happens, a lot of folks, they buy insurance and they kind of forget about it. Okay. So, you know, the best thing we can do is, you know, pick up the phone, speak to your agent once a year and say, have things changed? You know, homeowners has always been competitive. So when you shopped your homeowners insurance 10 years ago, each company had different rates. So you could save money on it. Auto became competitive about 7 years ago, 6 years ago. So rates change year to year. One company's great today, next year the rates might go up 10, 15%. So it always makes sense to reach out and shop those policies because every year things change. So it's definitely not a set and forget it. You definitely want to have a conversation with your agent and say, you know, am I bundling my policy? Is my home and auto together? You know, I have a teenage driver. Should I be increasing my limits of liability in case something happens? You know, I'm thinking about buying a house down in the Cape. I'm going to put one of my cars there. Should I have the car garaged in Stoughton or should I have it in Falmouth? So conversations you want to have. So as life changes, you want to have a conversation with your insurance agent so they can guide you through the process and make sure that you're properly insured. You know, we always tell clients, you're not paying to be legal, you're paying to have coverage. So if something was to happen, you want to make sure that you're properly insured and that, you know, you're not stuck footing a bill because you forgot to call your agent and say, my son got his license, my daughter got her license, I didn't add him to the policy. So it's definitely important that as life changes, you pick up the phone and you have that conversation with your insurance person.
Could you explain, you mentioned that year to year, one company's premiums are much less than another and then it swaps over?
Yep.
Why or how does that occur? It doesn't seem to be that logical to me.
Yeah.
So maybe you could explain the logic.
I mean, insurance is a business. So depending on how the company did the previous year, it's going to dictate what they ask for a rate increase. So they can't just increase the rates just anytime they want. It has to go through a process, has to be approved by the Division of Insurance, by the commissioner. If the rates are improved, then the carrier can take a rate increase. So, you know, if a company had a bad year, you know, they had a lot of accidents, a lot of claims, they may look to increase their rates to try to get some of that money back to minimize the loss they had the previous year. Where company B maybe had a really good year and they didn't have so many losses, so they want to keep their rates the same or maybe lower their rates a bit to make them a little more competitive. And, you know, companies have different appetites, different times. You know, so a company, you know, they're aggressive, they want to grow. Well, they know the fastest way to grow is to have a product that's going to be a little less than everybody else. So a lot of times these carriers will, you know, reduce their rates because they want to get a bigger piece of the market share, so to say. So they're going to reduce their rates in hopes it's going to attract more new clients to their insurance company.
So tell us a little bit, Jeff, about your trail, your pathway.
Sure.
How is it that you...
How I got to insurance?
Yeah, how did you get to insurance? How did you come to this particular agency? And then maybe with a sort of a thought toward helping perhaps a college student who might have just graduated, who maybe has... I'm not sure anyone always likes insurance, but... or what would bring somebody to insurance? So what brought you?
Yeah, I remember sitting in the 6th grade at the North School, which is now the Dawes School, thinking I want to be an insurance agent. You know,
no way.
No. Most kids don't have those thoughts as they're younger. But you know, it's funny. So I mean, I'm a Stoughton kid. I graduated Stoughton High in 1997. You know, did my schooling and ended up working at Stoughton Cooperative Bank. And I was there. I kind of started as a teller, moved my way up to the loan department. Eventually, I was running the loan department for them. I had met Carlos probably about 13 or 14 years ago at the Stoughton Youth Soccer Field. I was coaching, and his son Jonathan was one of the kids I took on my team, and Carlos and I forged a friendship, and I worked at co-op for another probably 4 years or so, and then I was looking for a change, and Carlos was looking to bring somebody new in. And what attracted me to Carlos is that, you know, being part of a small bank, especially Stoughton Cooperative, you know, it's local, and they're heavily involved in the community, and that's the sense I got from Carlos. Carlos says, hey, if you're going to come be part of our team, you know, we're a community, we're grassroots. So we want somebody who's going to be willing to kind of roll up their sleeves, you know, be part of the fabric, not just come to work Monday through Friday, get a paycheck and go home. And, you know, and that definitely was attractive to me, because that's something I believe in. I believe in being part of the community. So I joined Carlos. It was about 11 years ago.
Yeah.
I was there. I've been there ever since. I kind of started off as customer service, went into production, into sales. Eventually, you know, we were looking for a manager, and I said, hey, I'd like to, you know, give that a shot. They gave me the opportunity, and then I was, you know, blessed enough that they offered me a partnership in the agency a couple years back. So that's kind of been my role. I mean, it's definitely the best life decision I've ever made. You know, you know, Carlos is a great guy to work for. His brother Joe and Mario are great guys to work for. It's a family business, which is nice, but, you know, we still run it like a business kind of deal. You know, we do things properly for our staff, you know, health insurance and disability and 401k. So even though we're a small family business, we run it, you know, as if it was a big business. We want to give all the employees the same perks they would get if they were working for a State Street, a much bigger corporation that has, you know, deeper pockets than we do. But we make sure that we take care of our staff and keep everybody happy.
What about your education? Where did you get your education?
Yeah, so it was funny. So I graduated Stoughton High in '97. My father has a landscaping business, and my thought was I was going to work for him. So I did that for a couple of years, and my father said to me, you know, Jeff, use your brain, not your back. So about '99, I ended up going to Massasoit. I took some classes there.
Very nice.
And then I was working at the bank at the same time, and Jeff Narcata was the president at the time. And he says, hey, I'd like you to continue. So I ended up going to Bridgewater State at night. So I started at Massasoit and, you know, finished at Bridgewater State at night. And then, you know, and how I got into the insurance, we kind of went over. And, you know, for a college kid who's looking to get involved in insurance, I mean, I think it's a great field. You know, the tough thing is, you know, a lot of kids come out of college, they want to make, you know, $100,000 on day one, right? We all have that dream. You know, I went to college, so I'm gonna make $100,000 out the gate. With insurance, the nice thing is, you know, you can make a great living, but it takes time. And that's why I tell all these young kids, I've been coaching soccer since I've been 21, and I'm 36 now. So a lot of kids that were younger are now 25, 26, and some of them are still in college, and they say, you know, Coach, should I get involved in insurance? I said, it's a great field, but just know it takes time. So somebody who, you know, has that passion, who, you know, wants to learn and wants to get out there and meet people, it's a great living. It's a great living.
What about the designations that you needed to acquire? What were they?
So there's a license you obtain. It's called a property and casualty, so a P&C license. That allows you to be able to sell insurance in the state, and that way you can get paid commission. And then there's all different types of things you can get. There's, you know, CPCUs. There's, you know,
which is
chartered property casualty underwriter. So basically, that's kind of what your companies would have behind the scenes. So once you have that, it's almost like your doctorate in insurance. You've kind of been through the classes, you know the policy in and out.
Yep.
It's very common to see an underwriter at a company level having that. Many agencies have, you know, principals or partners that have designations. For us, we're constantly sending our staff to classes. You know, Mass Agent does a great job, you know, teaching, you know, the laws and regulations and the policies. So you can keep learning. I mean, it's like any other job. If you're willing to put the time and effort in, there's always something new to learn. As you've probably seen your policy in the mail, it can be a bit confusing.
I think they're incredibly confusing, actually.
And the sad part is I go to these classes, they tell me they're written at an 8th grade level. So when I read those policies, I don't feel very bright. So I'm thinking, it's confusing me.
8th grade level?
That's what they tell us.
Did I just say they were confusing? I meant they were very easy to understand.
Don't feel bad. They confuse me at times, too.
They're written at an 8th grade level. My foot.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
exactly.
my foot.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's always offering classes. You know, our goal is, you know, we had our staff meeting this morning. We're always trying to bring people in to educate the staff and just new techniques and what's going on in the market. You know, what do you need to be aware of? Is the registry having changes? I mean, we even go to classes about banking. Even though we're not bankers, we know that our clients are dealing with people who are getting loans, and at least if we can kind of shed some light on a question they may have when they come to see us, our goal is to make sure that, you know, we're a resource for our clients.
Good. Very good.
Thank you.
Carlos, let's talk about the future of insurance. I mean, what have you done as you look in the crystal ball and you say 5 years from now, or even 10 years, even harder, 10 years from now, what does insurance look like as different than how it looks today?
I think the avenues are going to be a lot greater. There's going to be for anybody who's looking to get into insurance, because you have all these cluster groups forming so that, you can't just open up the door one day and say, hey, I'm going to sell insurance. You need relationships with companies. So as the insurance industry evolves, I think those relationships are going to be easy to be had. So then you can sell policies. I think what ends up, I think the survivors in my industry, in our industry, are going to be the ones that get it. They know that you need to develop a relationship before, you need to get them into the funnel, the sales funnel up at the top, some content marketing, give them some knowledge, give the prospect some knowledge, and then have them work their way into the sales funnel. So the client goes online. I read a report last year that says that the average consumer will read 11.5 or 11.9 articles, reviews before they make a phone call to an insurance agency. So they'll go online, they'll do their research, and then they'll call. But if the agency doesn't understand that they need to be providing that content for the consumer needs to read about what we do, the services, what we talk about, and then they're going to come and make the phone call to the agency. So I think the insurance agencies are going to shrink, greater opportunity for anybody getting into the business to open up their own shop. But I think social media, content marketing, inbound marketing, which is a term coined by HubSpot in Cambridge.
What does it mean, inbound marketing?
Inbound marketing means that you put your stuff out there. You blog, you talk about what the consumer is reading, right? So if somebody's buying a home, they're going to go online and do a search for what should I learn, what should I know when I buy my first house. Well, my blogs, if I'm looking to attract a consumer that's looking to buy a home, I need to be blogging about that, because we Google everything, right? So Google needs to serve my blog as an answer to their search. Or so somebody goes online and says, how much should I pay for auto insurance in Stoughton, Mass? I need to have blogs out there talking about the cost of insurance in Stoughton, Mass. Or what's the process to purchase a home? And then we have blogs talking about you need to reach out to a realtor, a bank, or the closing process. So that's where inbound marketing is. Inbound marketing means you blog about everything that the consumers are searching on Google for, and then Google then serves your blog as an answer to their question.
All right, I fear that we've taken the cart before the horse.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sure there are many in the audience, I'll include myself in this group.
Yep.
I've never blogged.
You've never blogged.
So you talk about blogging.
Right.
Pull us back a little about blogging first and then blogging as an insurance person.
Okay. Blogging, the simplest way to explain it is you need to figure out what your potential customers are searching for online, and you blog about that. You answer the question. They ask, you answer. So that's what a
simple
blog.
Definition, Carlos. You blog about that. So if I don't know what blogging is,
blog
I'm still
is
confused.
You write an article that's 200 to 600 words long that answers the question, answers that query that they punched in, that they punched into
So you're
Google.
going to write articles and throw them online?
Yes, they need to be optimized for Google, because that's really, we're all serving Google. Google is the engine that drives commerce, really. Everybody, when you're looking to go to a restaurant, you just Google the restaurant. When you're looking to go out to a movie, you Google the movie or the community. So as a business owner, we need to be answering questions that Google thinks are relevant to the folks posting their questions online. So my answer needs to fit with the question that was posted by the person who did the Google search. And what a blog is, again, it's 300 to 500 words long, that's optimized to serve Google, so Google can say, hey, Vargas just talked about this in their whatever. Right. They just answered that question in this blog. And we probably have a couple hundred blogs out there. And even the old blogs get served up by Google because we've answered a question that Steve Kelly went on and said, hey, how much should I pay for car insurance in Stoughton? And we have blogs talking about the cost of insurance in Stoughton.
So we'll just spend a little bit of time on this,
Sure.
because I don't think it serves the purpose of our program as much as it could. But for the, just think about, if you would. So let's assume that Jeff didn't work with Carlos,
Yeah.
right? And there are 22 Jeffs in the room.
Yes.
Then we've got a blog war going on.
Right. Right.
So at what point is this
Right.
like? At what point does this become? It was effective, but it's not.
It's probably becoming ineffective now. I mean, there's just so much content out there. So your blog, what you're talking about, needs to rise to the top of that pile. There's just so much content out there. I think I personally think blogs are definitely the way to get consumers to your business, but you also need to be involved in the community that you're trying to do business in.
That brings us back.
Goes back to that. So if somebody does a search for Google about how to purchase a homeowner's or a condo policy, right? And Vargas comes up, but then Vargas comes up as talking about the cash mob, talking about the farmer's market, talking about the consumer, the prospect, my possible client is going to say, wow, he answered my question, and look at them. They're all over the community talking about the community that I'm buying a condo in. I think that's the way to get to the top of the heap, is to not only blog, but also be part of the fabric of the community, so people come to you because you care about the same issues that they have a passion for.
That sounds much more well-rounded, kind of makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
And maybe it's my bias about not as technology-driven as, say, as obviously Vargas Insurance is.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that that's where a smaller business, so if there's a business owner out there that's looking at Vargas Insurance and saying, you know, number one, maybe I'll give them a shot at a policy because they seem to know their stuff.
Yeah.
And number two, maybe I need to do some of what they're doing because they're quite successful.
Right.
And some of that is not only the blog,
Right.
but also
The community.
a real strong investment in community.
And they're welcome to contact me there. They don't have to be a client of mine. I share all of this everywhere I go. So, I mean, I think if we can all, our goal is to kind of fight off the big boxes, right? The Home Depots, the Walmarts and stuff. You know, so if we get a vibrant, small, community, independently owned business in town, that's good for our town. You know, if we have another Walmart open up the street, that's not good for us, right? You know, I read a statistic earlier today that the small business owner is 250 times greater in giving back to a nonprofit than one of these conglomerates. So if you're passionate about a nonprofit, whether it be a food kitchen or whatever, right, you know, you really should sponsor should try to give your business to the small business owner, because there's a much greater chance that they're going to help the community nonprofits. Well,
there's no question that what you're talking about a healthy community starts with doing business in the community.
Absolutely.
Where and this kind of drives away from you guys, but in terms of business communities in the old days, right? A cobbler would put the shoes on a blacksmith's kids, and the blacksmith would put the shoes on the cobbler's horse.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes they bartered.
And they would, and that circle would keep the money in the community.
Sure.
And what happened is the big box stores came in, the malls came in, internet came in,
right,
and slowly parsed out and pulled away from our small business people and makes it today even extremely hard for a small business person to feed in the community. And as capital flees to these other sources, that's really difficult. So if you can be involved in that community, I think that really sends the right message and does the right thing. It's not just sending a message.
Sure.
It's lead by example.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's funny, and I'm heavily involved in Stoughton and the Dorchester community, Jamaica Plain, Rosendale. And those city communities, the stores, little independent coffee shops and just little boutiques opening up all over the place. And that part of the city is not much different than our town. So I think the difference there is you have a lot more consumers wanting a better community. And they know that if they, instead of going to Target to buy whatever, if that's around the corner, maybe they'll spend a couple of dollars more because they know the shop owner, they're also selling stuff that they're interested in versus Target, who does business in all 50 states and more countries. Are they kind of, yeah, everybody's going to want this? Well, not really. So I think we just need more people involved. I think that's what we need here.
Jeff, let me switch over to you.
Sure.
You mentioned soccer. It's a lifelong passion.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about your soccer endeavor.
Yeah, I mean, so I grew up playing as a kid. You know, I still play today. Actually, I play in a co-ed league with Carl's son, Jonathan, so we have a game tonight at 8:30. I coached in Stoughton Youth Soccer when I was 21. From there, I coached for CLC in Stoughton. They had a soccer club.
CLC stands for?
Luigi Club Luigi Camões.
The
Portuguese club in
Camões,
Stoughton. And from there, I joined EMFC, which is another soccer club, Eastern Mass Football Club, which eventually became merged with a few different clubs, so it's Real Boston now. So I'm still involved with those guys. Been coaching in Milton High School for the last 8 years now. A good friend of mine, Mike Madden, was the varsity coach there, and he asked me to join him 8 years, and I've been there ever since. So it's just been, it's a passion of mine. It feels like it keeps me young, you know, kind of being around kids that are, you know, still in high school and still joking around and laughing, and being on the field with them is great, and also teaching them some life lessons. I mean, you know, as growing up, we all made some mistakes, and you can kind of educate the kids on what I did and what you shouldn't do. And you know, I've received so many great letters in the mail. I mean, I get Christmas cards from these kids and letters thanking me for the 4 years of being part of their life, and they will continue a friendship. And there's still kids today that are now 26, 27 that I go out to dinner on a regular basis and see how they're doing. So you know, it's you know, soccer has given more to me than I've gave to soccer, because you know, I have so many friendships that I've forged out of that sport that you know, I wouldn't give it up for anything.
So, but you didn't tell us your position when you play.
Yeah, I was a center back. Yep.
You're a center back.
Yeah.
And your success, what do you attribute your success?
In sports?
Yeah, in soccer.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, it's my father. I mean, he definitely got me out there when I was young. I mean, I was, you know, 4 years old, and I think he lied about my age, still in youth soccer, so I could play on a team a little older than I was. But it really comes down to, you know, my dad just being a great dad. You know, being involved with me, getting me out in the yard, never making it so it was like a chore. It was always a game. You know, that's kind of the trick, you know, with kids, is that if you make it fun, they want to do it. If it becomes work, they don't want to do it. So, you know, the game to me has always been fun. I never saw it as, you know, a chore. I saw something I want to do. And, you know, when I would lose games, I'd get a little upset. My dad would say, you know, you might have lost, but you gained experience. And that's kind of took away from it. I mean, it's taught me a lot. I mean, you know, we talk about the whole team mentality. You know, whether you're playing soccer, football, you know, baseball, basketball, hockey, it's about a team. You know, it's not one individual that can make or break you. You know, it's about the team working together to a common goal. And I think that's really helped me in my professional life also, because, you know, at Vargas Vargas, we have that team mentality. It's not about, you know, what did Jeff do, what did Carlos do, you know, what did Joe do, what did Mario do, you know, what did Jason do, or Carolina or Anna. It's, you know, what did the team accomplish together. It's always a team effort.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Speaking back to you, Carlos,
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about your very first moment, your first decision, I'm going to open up Vargas Insurance? How did that happen?
Well, it kind of happened. I started off as a direct writer working for Prudential Insurance. A direct writer. So I was an employee of Prudential Insurance. Today we're brokers.
Okay.
So brokers, you don't work for any one company. You've got many different companies that you represent your clients to.
Okay.
I started working as an employee of Prudential Insurance. Thankful for everything they gave me. I met my lovely wife. So.
Wow.
But yeah, it was great.
At Prudential.
At Prudential, she was the manager's
Kathy?
secretary. So I was trying to brown nose the boss. No, Kathy was the assistant, the manager's assistant. But back then, when you wrote so much insurance, they would give you an office in the territory that you were assigned to. And I was assigned to Mattapan, Dorchester, and Hyde Park. So they gave me an office there. They hired a secretary for me, and then it just made no sense to be working for them instead. So they set me up, and it made sense for me now to take this on. And then I left them in '95. But we started the company in '86, '87. And in 1995, I left Prudential, and we hired Jeff. We hired all kinds of amazing people. Since then, so that's how I got involved.
So you started an insurance company in '86.
And I started with Prudential 1980.
1980. And then
in '86, they opened up a shop for me. And then around '87, '88, we said, we need to be doing this on our own because the revenue is better.
Right.
You're no longer an employee.
Yeah.
And then in '95, I left Prudential.
And then you essentially made the office much larger?
Much larger. We were able to grow because when you work as a direct writer for one company, they have one product. So you try, many people have different needs. So,
right.
And it's trying to fit that square hole into the round peg, the square peg into the round hole. But as a broker, we've got 9 or 10 different companies that some companies have appetites for older homes, multifamilies, flat roofs, right. Where Prudential is an amazing company, but I think it limited me to what I could offer my clients, or we could offer our clients.
So then it made sense for you to say, okay, we'll strike out on our own, we'll develop other businesses as well.
Right.
And then
businesses with different insurance companies. So now we can offer this company and that company who might be better priced than Prudential was at that time.
And I'm guessing your collaborative nature, as I have experienced it personally, allowed you to leave the company and still keep the company?
Yes,
still keep Prudential as one of your main providers,
I
right?
stayed with them until 95, and that's when we parted ways. And in hindsight, I wish I'd left them in 86. Because it would have been hard, but I can just imagine how much further ahead we would have been if I wasn't hamstringed by being an employee of a company that I no longer had a passion for. And that's what I suggest everybody too. If you're ever thinking about going out on your own, just do it. Just do it. If you've got a good plan, if you think you can make it, you'd hate to be 65 and say, if I had only had, just do it. Just try it. Put all your ducks in a row and just do it. So
let's talk about a specific product, right?
Okay.
Because it concerns me. Maybe we'll have Jeff take a shot with this one.
Sure.
Earthquake insurance.
Yep.
It seems to me that almost nobody has it. I'm just going to throw that out there like I know.
Yep.
Including me. Should I have it?
Yep. You can add it onto your homeowner's policy. So it's an endorsement. So there's no standalone earthquake policy. It'll be endorsement on your homeowner's policy. So if an earthquake was to happen, you'd put a claim against your carrier versus waiting in line for the government to hand out checks to repair your home.
And what sort of percentage would it cost? Is it 1% of the premium?
So it's going to be more than 1%. It's expensive. It's hard to say the exact amount, but you're probably looking at minimum a couple $100 a year to add it onto the policy.
And do you think we should?
Absolutely. I mean, there's people much brighter than me that buy insurance from me. A lot of people from MIT and some Harvard professors, and they always add it on. They always tell me, Jeff, it's not, if, it's when. Like, there's just a matter of time before we do have an earthquake here that's substantial and it's going to cause issues, so they have it on their policy. So it's something I definitely recommend that every client, even if you're not a client of Vargas Insurance, call your agent and say, hey, what would it cost to add on this earthquake coverage? And if you can fit into your budget, I would definitely add it on your policy.
So I'd be interested if you have a few seismologists that have policies with you, and if they're putting that insurance.
Yeah, they pick it up. There's definitely a lot of people do ask for, especially people that kind of understand what's going on, and they want to add it onto their policy.
I have it on my policy.
You do, yeah.
I do, absolutely. It's insurance.
And what would it protect us from?
Your home collapsing as a result of an earthquake, which is an exclusion under the standard policy. But now, with that rider is on there, cracked roof, cracked ceilings, foundation cracks, really any damage to the property as a result of an earthquake, earth movement is covered. Do you know what's also not covered under the homeowner's insurance? We had this conversation earlier today. Is flooding. Many people think that because we don't live next to a lake or a pond or the ocean, we shouldn't have flood insurance. I mean, I think the statistic was like 50% of all floods, homes that get flooded, or 57%, all homes that suffer a flood are not in a flood zone. But you can buy flood insurance for a few $100s a year. So I mean, if you're looking to protect, your largest investment, for $300 or $400 a year, maybe $300 or $400 a year.
Preferred policy.
If for a preferred flood policy, then it covers the mechanicals in the basement. It covers any structural, if you have a finished basement stuff. It does cover contents, but it'll cover anything below grade.
Well, you mentioned contents, and I think that a lot of people getting started out have questions about apartment insurance.
Yeah,
that's a great
so
question.
What about apartment insurance, Jeff?
Everyone should have it. It's
too cheap.
It is. It's inexpensive. I mean, you're looking at a basic policy. Say $6,000 of contents, $100,000 of liability. You're under $100 a year. It's pretty
under $100.
Yeah, under 100. Yeah.
Wow.
It's inexpensive. I mean, and we all see the stories in the news where the families put out. There's a fire at a 12-unit apartment complex and nobody has renter's insurance, so now they have nowhere to stay. At least with that renter's policy, you're going to get some cash from the insurance company that's going to let you go find a new place to live. So say you had a $6,000 policy, I want to say your loss of use coverage. Loss of use says you're forced out of your home due to a claim. This is the money we will give you to find a new living quarters. They get like $2,500. So at least the insurance company gives you $2,500. You can use it towards your first and last at your new apartment, so you can get in there. So it kind of helps keep life normal, but it's definitely something that everyone should have. But like you said, very, very few people carry renter's insurance.
What about the landlords? Don't they also, are they required, or is it possible that there is an amount that comes to each tenant?
Something called tenant relocation.
Okay.
It's $750, per unit there. So if you and I rent together, we're on the lease together, we get $750 to relocate. It doesn't cover the hotel, any expense that the tenant incurs. It's going to take care of the owner. The landlord's going to pay to repair their house. It's going to pay their loss of rent to them every month while the house is being repaired, but it's not going to take care of the tenant because you can't insure somebody else.
So it's just $750,
Correct.
a little bit something that softens the blow.
It's not that it's much. And then the bigger part, if you don't have that renter's policy, that landlord's not going to cover your personal items. So your TV, your clothing, it's all gone from that loss. The landlord's policy is not responsible for that because you can't insure somebody else's stuff. So Carlos can't buy a policy for me if I rent from him because it's my stuff inside his apartment. I need to pick up a renter's policy. We actually advise a lot of our clients that if you're going to be a landlord, you should build into the lease. They should have to purchase a renter's policy. It kind of protects you and it protects them. That way, if something does happen, at least everybody's happy at the end. Nobody's happy about the loss, but at least people are made whole and they feel like geez, it was a really bad thing that happened, but at least my life didn't get shaken up too much. At least I was able to get some money, buy some new clothes, find a new place to live, so I get some normalcy back in my life as fast as I can.
Let me give you guys a scenario so you could maybe educate someone in the audience. So a person has a reasonably expensive bicycle. Mm-hmm. Let's say it's $1,500.
Yep.
And they go off with their friends, and they've got their two teenage grandchildren. They each have bikes that are $1,000. So yep. They go into the restaurant rather unsmartly, don't lock their bikes, and when they come out, they're gone. Is that covered under homeowners? Is that covered at all? Are you in tough luck? What goes on with that?
Want me to take that?
Yeah.
So it's part of your personal property. I've had a few clients that are, they're heavy into bicycling, so they have super expensive bikes. We always say you may want to schedule it on the policy. So what happens is you tell the insurance, this is what I have, here's some receipts, here's an appraisal, it's worth X. I want to have it on my policy for that value in case it is stolen. The insurance company pays the full value of it because what happens is you always pay a deductible on home insurance. So you have a $1,500 bike, you bring it to the coffee store, you don't lock it up, you come back out, that bike's gone. Say you had a $1,000 deductible, you receive $500 from the insurance company because you always pay your deductible first. So if something's worth, some money and it's near and dear to your heart and you don't want to pay for it twice, you can schedule on your policy. The cost for a bike, I'm not sure what it is. Jewelry is $1.25 per 100. I'm guessing a bicycle is probably like 25 cents on the 100. It'd probably be pretty inexpensive to schedule it. But at least once it's there, if something does happen, they cut you a check so you can go buy a new bike.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So let's shift off of the insurance. You guys are doing great on the quizzes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Your favorite thing that you do in the community, Carlos?
The favorite thing that I do in the
you
community.
do 10 different things that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
My favorite thing is meeting new people. Folks who have opened up a business here, and I'm not looking for their insurance, just welcoming them is just meeting new people. It's being out there in the community. I'm passionate about, coming and supporting a new business that opens up. But that's what I really love to do in the community. Taking my wife out to a nice place for dinner in the community too, but it's about meeting new people.
When are you going to run for office?
I'm never.
You're never going to run for office.
I ran once.
Yeah.
Unopposed.
Yeah.
It's the best way to run, I was told.
Yeah.
And I think my tenure runs out in a couple. It could be on the redevelopment authority.
Yes.
I have another 2 years, so.
I'm
there.
I ran once unopposed and I lost.
Oh no!
No, just kidding. That's really a bad thing, isn't it? So no, I think that it's great that you deserve a lot of credit. We see the results of your input and Vargas Insurance's input, and I think it's a real model as a leader in the community these are the kind of ways to do things. And I think sharing like how you do it is also helpful for aspiring business owners. And
Sure.
you know, sometimes you're starting a business and you don't have time to blog, you don't have time to do anything.
Right.
So what would you say to, let's say, a new flower shop or a new restaurant that they're barely able to get the dishes into the dishwasher and back out on the tables before the next order comes in and the next bill becomes due?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Provide the best way to get the word out is to provide the best possible customer service of everybody that walks in the door. That's our goal every single day. Everybody that comes in the door, we don't want them just to be friends of I call them FOBs, friends of our business.
Yeah.
We want them to be zombies, right? We want them so every time somebody gets in the community and they hear that somebody needs insurance for some reason, they're going to say, go see Vargas. We call them zombie loyalists. You know, we want them to be focused on not just pushing us, but every time they hear a friend of theirs that needs insurance or is having an insurance issue, they're going to think of us, they're going to come right back to us. So I think that's the first advice for that business owner. The second advice is there's many online services that you can take advantage of for as much as $5. It's called Fiverr, Fiverr, to help you get a blog going. Fiverr.com, right? Where for $5, you create an account. For $5, you can say, I need somebody to create a Facebook banner, or I need somebody to write a few hundred-word blog. You can go to Fiverr.com. You can find writers. It's kind of the eBay of people who do work from their bedroom at home at night. So Fiverr connects the merchant or anybody who's looking for help in some way on how to create a spreadsheet, how to do a LinkedIn profile. I recommend that to an awful lot of the smaller businesses who have just opened up. Just reach out to Fiverr.com, and if you need help, I'm here to help you as well.
That is such a terrific resource.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice when the show that we're doing brings a specific to the to the audience, and you know, not only hearing a success story and the threads sort of behind it, but also, and here's some specific stuff. So I really appreciate that you can do that. I'm actually going to look on Fiverr now and just have a look. I like to write my own stuff, but I just haven't done anything that would be sort of that has steered me enough to go do it.
Every business need that you may have, there's a professional on Fiverr that can do it for you for in increments of $5, $5, $10, $15,
right?
$20, $40. So, but it starts at $5.
So I'm going to ask our producers out back, and it's a nice opportunity to thank our producers out back, which is Roy Cohen and Gina Coe. And we've also got Leo McGowan, who is right here in studio with us, pointing that camera left and right. And we want to thank wonderful volunteers here at SMAC, Stoughton Media Access Corporation. So I'm wondering if we could get the details for the contact info up for Vargas Insurance, and we could have the audience perhaps jot that down. So we'll see if we can catch Gina to pull that up. And here we go. So it's Vargas and Vargas Insurance, and that's 4 Cabot Place, Unit 7, Stoughton, Mass. And 02072 781 344 4321, 1133 Washington Street, Dorchester, Mass. 02124. And you can phone and get either Jeff or Carlos at 617-298-0655, vargasinsurance.com. And we'll also take this opportunity to roll the credits. So, and I think we have a number of credits up there. So Gary LaPierre will be joining us and jumping in on the credits. So let's see how Gina can cue us in on that.
Hi, it's Gary LaPierre, and the crew wants to thank Maxie's Delicatessen. That's at 117 Sharon Street in Stoughton. They're 781-341-1662. American Cancer Society, yes, they're looking for volunteers. Drive cancer patients to and from their treatments. 1-800-ACS-6662. Or just go to www.cancer.org. Ilsa Mark's Food Pantry in St. Anthony's Free Market, 2 Park Avenue in Stoughton. For more information, call Christine Gallagher That's at 781-341-0611 or 781-341-0549. Meals on Wheels. Just ask for Jessica. You'll find her at 781-344-8882, extension 2. Stoughton Penny Saver. Our business is advertising your business, they tell us. 27 Rose Glen Street, Stoughton, 781-344-4833. Community Forum showtimes in Stoughton. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 6 p.m., Monday at 8 p.m., Tuesday at 5 p.m. It's on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 28. All comments and suggestions welcome. Contact us at communityforum1@yahoo.com. Community Forum showtimes in Easton. Mondays at 9 p.m., Tuesday at 8 a.m., Wednesdays 3 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. And that too, Comcast Channel 9, Verizon Channel 22. Samaritans, they're at 41 West Street on the 4th floor in Boston, 02111. Their phone number is 617-536-2460. 24-hour helplines for Samaritans, and the number is 877-870-HOPE. That's 877-870-4673. Samaritans, you can find them at 800-252-TEEN. That's 252-8336. Or find them online at SamaritansHope.org.
And I'd also like to tell you about Stoughton's own Farmers Market every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's from June to October 10th. It's on the Stoughton Center Church Green, 790 Washington Street. There is fresh produce, breads and pastries, fresh fish, and much more. Live music, weekly giveaways, easy parking, and something called double SNAP benefits. And anybody who has SNAP benefits, come down to the farmer's market and we will double them up to $20 every week. You can't bring your pets per the Board of Health, but we do want to see you with your kids. So come on down to the Stoughton Farmers Market. It's a wonderful way to reinforce community and to get great produce as well. And also, we want to tell you about the Stoughton Lions Club, the 2015 Concerts in the Park. It's a beautiful thing. July 12th, Jumpin' Juba is the band. July 19th, Ghost Riders. July 26th, the Caps. August 9th, the Corvairs. August 23rd, It Is What It Is. I think that's a Bill Belichick group, by the way. And then Sundays, 5 to 7 p.m., all of those bands will be playing each Sunday, Faxon Park, an individual band in each one. It's free of charge to come down. Bring your own chairs, some blankets for the kids to lay on, and listen and enjoy that beautiful music. We also want to make sure, as part of the farmers market, that we really thank the church. The church has allowed us to use their green. They've been fabulous in supporting us. They're always trying to do great things for the community. So I don't think we can say enough about the wonderful church here in Stoughton. Absolutely. So we're back with Community Forum. I'm with Carlos Vargas and Jeff Kamara of the Vargas Insurance Agency. Pleasure to have you guys, and really have enjoyed hearing about insurance, hearing about the fiverr.com, for instance, and more online stuff. Tell me about this this whole idea of cash mob that I've seen work here in Stoughton, mostly at your direction. Right. So what is a cash mob? All these people waving cash in their hands. And
that'd be great. No, yes. No. What a cash mob is? It's a group that's usually formed somehow. We have a Facebook group called the Stoughton Cash Mob, and what we do is we talk about new businesses coming to town, perhaps a business that's struggling, or maybe just say, hey, listen, let's focus on spending our money at this business this week, this evening, whenever. So the Stoughton Cash Mob has 400 or 500 members. Sad to say we haven't had a cash mobbing in probably a couple of months, but before the end of the summer, what I'll do is I'll put a vote up there. I'll ask the mob members who we should spend our money at. And so I'll take the top 7 recommendations. I'll put a vote on there, and then the business that gets the most votes on the Facebook group page, I'll contact them, and I'll ask them, like, when's a good day to come and cash mob your business? And usually they're lost, and I explain to what a cash mob is. We're going to come this day, and we're going to spend our money here, at least $20. So the goal is each member that shows up spends at least $20, takes a photo, talks about the food.
Goes on Facebook with their
goes
photo.
on Facebook, exactly.
Right.
And then that business gets a boost in business. It's meant to kind of help the small independent businesses. So it's mirrored after the flash mob, where we tweet each other, hey, we're going to meet in Stoughton Center and do a dancing type of thing. That's a flash mob. So this is a cash mob. We started about 3 years ago.
Okay.
A friend of mine, Larry, who's now deceased, Larry and I started in Dorchester, and I started it in Stoughton. It's just a way to banter about a new business or a struggling business, or just a business, that, you know, and we just go spend our money there.
So it's sort of the power of group.
The power of group, the power of group and money. So, I mean, the best cash mob that we ever did was at Danino's Pizza. Somebody recommended, and I love Danino's Pizza, but it had been years since I've been there. There were so many choices for pizza in town.
Yeah.
And I went up and I reconnected with Mrs. Danino and the whole Danino family, and they had balloons up. Anybody that mentioned the cash mob, how can you not mention the cash mob? Everything says, welcome cash mob.
Yeah.
She gave you, I don't know, 5% off. It wasn't meant to do any of that.
Yeah.
And I think she might even have given you like a little coupon, come back, get a 10% off of a large pizza.
Yeah.
So they
So she
kind of
sort
got
of-
it.
they got
Yeah,
it.
they
How
got
to
it. So they got the repeat
Make it
business.
go both ways.
Exactly. And again, it's not that I didn't know, but I knew about them. It's been a while since I'd been there, and it was a wonderful time at Mrs. Danino's, and yeah, great pizza, great food, great people.
Good. Well, you know, you've gone above and beyond the average person's understanding of the use of the web, all right? And you mentioned Twitter, you mentioned cash mob, social media. I mean, you seem to have this presence and appreciation that's far and away above the average business owner. How did that come about?
It came about as a result of seeing the changing landscape. You know, a quick. I'm the marketing fellow at Vargas Insurance. My job is to develop relationships with referral partners. Anybody who is in front of somebody who will eventually have a need for insurance, hey, go see Vargas. Back around 2008, 2009, the real estate collapsed. And an awful lot of my referral partners, my realtors and bankers, went out of business. So I needed to, instead of working 20 or 30 referral partners, I needed to get it across hundreds of them. Because, you know, the law of large numbers is my business is going to go up if they can think of me more often. But it came about as a result of needing to expand our business base because our referral partners were shrinking, and it's the new way. I mean, I ask this at all the meetings that I do. What's the first thing that your prospect does when they get ready to make a buying decision? They Google it, right? It's in Google we trust. So if they can't find you, we also do Tuesday online classes. So they're geared towards bankers and real estate agents, but the classes are free. We don't charge a penny. Very seldom we try to sell anything, but some of our guests try to push whatever they're pushing. But there's enough content and substance so that if you're interested in learning about LinkedIn and how to grow your brand on Facebook, this week's class is how to grow your brand on Facebook. You know, we send off the invitation to several thousand real estate agents. Sometimes I get a few hundred that show up. Sometimes I get 15, but if it's a subject that they're interested in, they'll show up and listen to the webinar. The webinars are all recorded, and about 3 or 4 days later, if you missed it and you'd like to watch it, send me an email. I'll send you the replay link, and you can watch all of our webinars going back to 2013.
Wow. So that's good stuff.
They're all online, totally free.
All right. Jeff, you have some friends that are they're competitors but friends,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
If you got together with a bunch of them and brainstormed, what would you say would be, how do you know that you've got how do you find a really good insurance agent?
That's a great question. I mean, you know, insurance agent, someone's going to be there for you. So I tell people, we do a lot of home buying classes. And I say, you know, people think of insurance, sometimes it's an afterthought. You know, you have the real estate agent who's the rock star, the loan officer who's the rock star, then the insurance agent kind of falls in behind the scenes. This is a person you have a relation for the next 20, 30 years as long as you own that house. So I do the first time home buying class. I say, hey, pick up the phone and call a bunch of agents and interview them. I mean, really, they're going to work for you. So I say, imagine if you call an insurance agent and you're trying to get them on the phone and you can't. You got to leave them 3 or 4 voicemails. When you finally do get them on the phone, they're quick with you. You know, you have a $1,000 deductible, what's it cover? You know, I'll get back to you later with that. I'll send you an email. I'm busy right now. So you're trying to give this person business and not being very receptive. Imagine when the tables turn and now you need their help. Your house had a fire. You had a busted pipe. Somebody broke in. The house was vandalized. Imagine how they're going to help you now. They weren't very good when you're trying to give them business. So, you know, you have a good agent when they're responsive. You know, you send them an email, they get back to you. Yeah, you leave them a voicemail, they get back to you, you know, within the same hour. Somebody who, you know, has a team behind them that in case, you know, Jeff gets sick and he's in the hospital for a couple of weeks, well, he's got a team behind him that can step in and, you know, grab the ball, so to say, and run with it. So it's almost kind of that, you know, you mentioned Bill Belichick, kind of that team mentality, you know. I mean, you know, Jeff's not at the office on vacation, well, Carlos steps in, he takes it. If Carlos isn't there, then, you know, Carolina or Anna or Fatima takes the ball and run with it. So you want to make sure you're with an agency that, you know, has enough manpower behind them that if something does happen, you got a team working for you. But it's an interview process. Just call and, you know, find somebody you click with, somebody you have a good relationship with, someone who you feel is knowledgeable. Ask them some questions. Like Carlos said with Google, everything's out there. So, you know, call and say, hey, explain the homeowner's policy to me. You know, what does my policy cover? What doesn't it cover? If there's hesitation, if they don't know simple answers, that's probably somebody you don't want to do business with.
Good. So the idea would be to make sure that they have some breadth, they have some backup.
Correct.
Right? And that they're reachable.
Absolutely.
Good. I love, by the way, I was interviewing, or just speaking with a friend of mine, Joshi, and really nice fellow, years and years experience. And he said to me, when I owned my own business, he said, my service goal was to give such good service that my customers would be embarrassed and ashamed to call anyone else.
Yeah, it's a great goal.
How about
It's a great
that?
goal.
Great goal.
It's perfect. We all
Right?
should have that goal.
Imagine to be ashamed to call anyone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it seems like you guys have that mentality that you want to do such a good job that your customers would be ashamed to go to anybody else.
Right, right. It's funny, a majority of the business that we get comes from our friends and referral partners and clients. I mean, that's where it comes from. And you know, referrals are your best source of income. So it's where most of our new clients come from. So we do a good enough job. We try every single day. Our goal is to bat it out of the park.
And do you have like your office hours real quick because we only have a few seconds left?
Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5:30. We do after hour appointments and stuff. We do before. We're totally savvy with emails and stuff. So we make it simple to do business with us.
All right. Thank you. Our guests were Vargas Insurance, Carlos Vargas, Jeff Camara.
Thank you.
Thank you in the audience for watching the show. We hope very much that you'll continue to watch SMAC.